Good morning. So, is personalising your nutrition actually reliable when using blood glucose monitors? If you're coming in, give me a hello. If you're on replay, drop a replay below. So, personalising nutrition is a big word at the moment, from genetics to DNA, blood glucose levels. You see it a lot. And a recent study, 2023, very recent in fact, used, let's just put it as very expensive study to test how reliable glucose responses were in people without diabetes. So, and this will, anyone with type 1 diabetes will know just how potentially unreliable it is to say that this is how I respond to a food, as for many reasons they have to keep a track of them. But going back to this one, so they looked at personalizing the approach with blood glucose levels by looking at testing people's different responses to the same meals and different meals. So to put it simply, what they found is there was no real, that the difference was the same. There was, the variability was the same, whether you gave someone the same meal or a different meal. So it was just as different. If you went, right, I'm going to give you blueberries and yogurt, and let's see what your glucose response is. Then I'm going to give you blueberries and yogurt again and see if your glucose level is spike is different or the same. And then they repeated it with going, right, let's see if that is actually a bit more consistent than if we give you a different meal. So let's say we give you blueberries and Greek yogurt, but then we give you blackberry pudding, whatever. And they want to now see if the variability between similar nutritional values, let's say it's got some protein in it as well, changes it. And there was literally just as much variation in different meals than the same meals, showing that it's quite unreliable to conclude that I shouldn't eat blueberries because it spiked my blood glucose levels, or tomatoes don't agree with me because my glucose levels went up when I did a test on it and they just spiked one day. And it's a good reminder of how people are very quick to jump on things and new things, and we're spending a lot of money on things that are, as the research now shows, unreliable. And we even need more expensive tests, which make it probably out of a lot of people's price range, as it is anyway, and very elitist, if you like. Or we need a hell of a lot more research on it to even get it to be reliable. And it's up in the air to whether, you look at NICE guidelines and the guidelines around people with type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes, whether it's actually worthwhile doing anyway, and whether actually looking at an average over time, which is your HbA1c, is what would suit better anyway. So what can you do though? It's because it's all well and good saying that, okay, that's unreliable, because actually you could argue that calorie tracking is unreliable. And it can be. You can put in different foods, you have different meals, I homemade, that's off. And it potentially is. But one thing that isn't unreliable, and is reliable, is that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. And when you're in a calorie deficit, this is a good reminder of how you can get results in spite of something, not because of something. So for example, let's say it all of a sudden says that certain carbohydrates are raising my glucose levels. I then go, I know I'm going to cut carbs. I actually cut calories. So I cut calories, and then what happens is I create a calorie deficit, I lose a bit of weight, and I think that because I'm focusing on my glucose levels, it's working. But actually what I've done is I've cut my calories. And I'm sharing this to help empower you, help crush through the noise, which, if I'm honest, keeps me up on a Saturday night past my bedtime. 10 past 10, I'm reading this going, I need to get to sleep. Anyway, so we know that actually we can get results in spite of something, not because of something. Now, of course, maybe in years to come, we'll get better devices that will help us and be more personalized for us. But right now, all as we know from this research is that personalizing your nutrition through glucose monitors is unreliable and will give you quite random results, and at worst potentially lead to food aversions, you know, I'm not eating this, can't eat that, which actually over time makes it more complicated, because through my experience working with thousands of people now in nutrition, in training, I see a lot of food aversions and I can't eat that. And when I ask what's that based off, it's like, oh, someone, you know, I lifted my arm in the air, they pushed my arm down, did an allergy test abroad in Greece somewhere, in Spain somewhere, in Italy somewhere, and it's like, okay, what test did they do? I have no idea. And we don't question the reliability of these things, because they can give unreliable results, they can give invalid results that aren't repeatable measures. So I hope that helps, and I hope that shares a bit of facts for you on this Sunday morning, 1st of October, ready to go. Any questions, as always, just let me know. If you found it helpful, like, share it. We need to spread the message of empowering us to be in control of our nutrition and not be swayed by things that just aren't evidence-based but act evidence-based. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Have an awesome day.